Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2010 BMW 650i. Up front is a 4.8 liter V8, and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this 650i for several reasons. Mainly the fact that it's manual, it's a coupe, and it's got a V8, which seems to be a pretty good match if I know anything from anything. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 4.8 liter V8. Well, it's not without sin on its own. While it got rid of the rod bearing issues of previous V8s used, it has its own valve stem seal issues. So it's not the best. This is kind of where German cars were very hit or miss, and more often miss in terms of reliability throughout the 2000s, but it is a little bit better than the 4 liter that came before it. I like driving it. It feels very good, drives great. I just don't want to be the one that foots the bill, and that's the duty of my good friend Tristan, who owns the vehicle. So I'll let him handle the financials. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed manual. It feels incredible as well. Very notchy, very direct, very satisfying in and out of gear. I've always been a big fan of light clutches. I come from Miatas and RX-7s that have feather clutches, so I feel more at home driving this with that being the case. Last but not least, the 650i is rear wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the 650i? Well, visibility isn't great, and the ride quality isn't too wonderful either. However, that engine makes up for it. It's such a lovely V8, and honestly, the 6-speed makes it as well. Shifting my own gears in a 6 Series changes everything. I did a 6 Series convertible in automatic, and that was a fun cruiser for sure, but this is more of a driver's car, and you feel that with every single shift. This is Tristan's daily driver, and I could see why. It's a really, really well-rounded vehicle. It's luxury enough, but it's also sporty and fun enough. You can daily drive this, and it's not gonna punish you like an M3 might, especially once you start to get into the older M3 catalog, like the E36. So while it might not blow me away in any particular fashion, it's really, really well balanced, and I've enjoyed that bit of the 650i. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my speedometer and fuel. Off to the right is the tachometer and oil temperature. And then we have a little screen in the center for our odometer, warnings, outside temperature, things like that. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our volume, phone options, and voice commands. And off to the right, we have our CD, recirculate, and skip track, all very lovely here on the steering wheel. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, headlight switch, and fog light switch. And moving on to the door, we have power mirrors and power windows. Moving into the center, we do have the updated version of iDrive. So this was the final year for this 6 Series. However, this is the only year that it actually got the updated infotainment from the next generation. So if you want a 6 Series of this style and fashion, definitely look for a 2010. It's going to have that updated infotainment, which actually does make a world of difference. Here is the outdated infotainment. Yeah, that looks like Legos compared to this. Moving down the center stack, we do have 2 climate vents with a hazard switch and central locking. And then we have our climate controls, which are good and dandy. Dual zone climate, fan speed auto, CD player and favorites and things like that. But then we have this giant empty space down below. Nothing really going on here. This feels very concept car-y, but this is production. Then we do have our heated seat buttons, DTC, and parking sensors. We, of course, have an openable ashtray, because it wouldn't be a German car without one. And then we have our shifter in the center. Looks very dignified. It has a very nice polished knob to it. Shouldn't have said that. And then we have our sport mode button, which the owner says he never takes it out of sport mode just because the throttle response is a lot better. Off to the right, we do have a cup holder. We'll do a big friggin' bottle test, then it fails, just like every BMW that has ever been built has before it. Then we do get our infotainment selector off to the right. I've always really liked this. I think it has great tactile feedback. It's very easy to use, and I appreciate that. And then we do have our center console. The seats are comfortable. This does have a complete leather interior. That's including the dashboard is actually wrapped in leather, which that was a specific package for this particular vehicle. The seats are comfortable. They are a little bit sporty, which is nice, however, not overly sporty, which me as a bigger fellow, I tend to not like having big sporty seats. But this, like the rest of the car, is a very nice middle ground. What's not a middle ground, I would argue is a battleground, is the back seat. So let's go do a back seat review. Time to play everyone's favorite game show. Where is Zack shoving himself today? Oh man, it's in the back of a 650i if you were playing at home. We're in the back of the 650i. It's not great. My head's hitting the ceiling. My knees would be sawdust if I actually moved the seat back into its normal position. Not great. I do have leather, on the center console here, a little bit softer touch materials. But unfortunately, I do have a head, and it is not cooperating with the 650i's roof line here today. So, that's a little bit of a downside if I had to pick one. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. Right around the back of the 650i. This is actually how you open it, which is very cool. However, I did not unlock it like the big, stupid moron I am. There we go. And there's the trunk. Nothing too crazy. Again, it's a big coupe. Expect big coupe things. Is this good for a weekend trip? Could you throw a couple duffel bags back here and a case of water? 100%. But would I use this to move in and out of my new apartment? Probably not. But there you go. 650i trunk. In case you were ever curious. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And this, as the owner and I agree, is very polarizing. I don't like the front end. I think it kind of looks like it has fake eyelashes and I don't know, just kind of fish out of water, but I do think the tail end is very, very good looking. And overall, this is a big coupe and it really does mimic the concept car of the late 90s. So I like that BMW was able to integrate that style into something that they actually produced for the road. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the BMW 650i from 2010? Well, I really, really enjoy it. Obviously, it's a great car. And the thing that sticks out the most isn't that it's a BMW, isn't the fact that it's a V8, isn't the fact that it's a big touring coupe, which I've historically not really loved. I thought this was kind of a selfish vehicle. The best thing about this car is how versatile and how middle of the road it really is. It's kind of good at a lot of different things. It's sporty enough, it's comfortable enough, it's attractive enough. And so I think it wears multiple different hats. If you want it to be a daily driver, it is. If you want it to be a back road carver like this, you can make it that. And you can have a really good time. If you want to take you and the missus out on a weekend getaway, it has the space for that. If you need to show up to a business meeting, you look dignified. If you're taking it to the bookstore, I don't know, you'll get to the bookstore fast because it has a V8. Maybe that one doesn't fit perfectly, but you know what I mean. This car is just so incredibly well-rounded, and that is the biggest thing about it. And yes, I've said in the past that the 6 Series is a rather selfish vehicle because the back seats are basically unusable. It's this big coupe, it's a touring coupe. Grand touring coupes tend to be just built for one person and maybe a passenger if they feel like putting up with someone else's antics. But you know what? Sometimes it's okay to do stuff for you. Sometimes it's okay to buy a car that's just going to make you happy. If you don't have a family, you don't have to buy a family automobile. You can be as selfish as you want with your vehicular picks. And I'm very happy to be selfish here in the 650i. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Tristan for letting me borrow his 650i for today's video. He's been absolutely wonderful. I've reviewed several of his cars in the past. This is one of his more recent ones, and I have to say, like the color, it's quite the cherry. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.